Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today we're going to do another fun painting. So let's get started. We'll start off today with our 2-inch brush and a little bit of yellow and white. And let's come somewhere right along here and drop in a beautiful, beautiful little glow in the sky. Now I know you've noticed this new easel. I just decided it was time for a change, and I like the dark stained wood on this easel because it kind of melts into the background. I feel like it makes that painting pop off even more. So it's just a bit of a change. All right. Allow this color to float right up and become so soft. You can even add a touch of red. Just bring in a little red to that color. There we go. Next, with our filbert brush and some yellow, white, and red, let's just begin to throw in some beautiful clouds up here. See, just scrub with the edge of the brush and you get so many nice loose shapes. And of course, you don't want them all this color. Keep this color sort of here at the bottom. Maybe the sun is somewhere in that area. We don't really know too much where it is. All right. And then as you come out, you can go darker, a little bit more vibrant with the colors, but not much, just a little. Now with our filbert brush and a beautiful soft purple color, we can just scrub in some clouds here at the top. Sometimes the purple has more blue and sometimes it has more pink in it. As long as it's a beautiful soft color, nothing too vibrant, then it'll be just fine. Now when you're painting clouds a lot of the time, especially recently, I've enjoyed kind of leaving some of the brush strokes showing. We may not really blend this out at all. We may just do what we can with the brush to make it smooth and soft, and then leave it. Because if you don't use too much paint, you can simply scrub like this, soften the edges with the filbert brush, and leave just a bit of movement showing. And oh, is that pretty? I like it. Just a different technique or effect you might want to try when you do your next painting. Now with our 2-inch brush and some yellow and white, we need to just loosely mimic this sky down here in what's going to be a lake, a big lake. So there's some yellow, which matches that area. And the good news is you don't have to do it perfect. Just get the colors sort of loosely in the same area, and you'll be just fine. We're going to have a beautiful big lake, a very, very open painting where you can really see for miles. Not too many trees. I think that'll be fun. Now, as you can see here, I have a nice basic sketch of this landscape. I just took the filbert brush and a little bit of light gray and just sort of started making some brush strokes. And before I want the mountains and rocks and all sorts of little things. Now I'm just scrubbing with a clean filbert, and I'm just removing this paint right here from the top and moving it down. This is going to create a beautiful soft mountain. See, sometimes you don't even need to put any paint down except for your sketch. Just grab what's on there and use it and make your mountain. Now with a nice dark mix of red, brown, and black, we'll just continue blocking in these areas of the painting. Now as we're coming forward here, we need the colors to get darker because of course it'll make it look like it's a little closer to the viewer, which is of course what we want. And we can just loosely block this in. It's not too important. Don't want to get this too dark, so only have a couple areas of real dark. And then you can rub some light around that area. Don't want it too dark. There. We'll keep the darkest colors here in the foreground. That'll really make things stand out. Next, we can just drop in some beautiful, beautiful trees back here. There. We don't really need too many. And we definitely don't want them too high up. So I have just the filbert brush and a little bit of a soft brown color. And I'm just dabbing and pulling down very irregularly, so I get all sorts of different shapes on the top here. And that's all it takes, just a little. See how that really softens the edge and just makes it pretty. Much, much better than it was, just with that hard edge. Now we'll pick up a nice light color. This is just some, looks like a muddy gray on my palette. And let's, there, drop in some wonderful little highlights on like some rocks and cliffs, because see this cliff here? Those mountains are made up of the same kind of rock. They're going to be very similar. They're just tiny and in the background. Now we can begin to put on some slightly larger trees here to this area. Maybe this is a little rock projection that's sticking out just a bit closer than the background. So I'll just drop some trees on like this, using basically the same technique, just pulling down. The difference is my strokes are a little bit bigger and the color is just slightly darker. All right. Now with our filbert brush, we'll pick up some brown, black, and red, just the same old colors we've been using. And we'll go ahead and work on the left side here for a while. Just follow the sketch and just drop in these big masses of color. It doesn't really take too much, but really stretch this paint. Make it go a long, long ways. Because that way, there's so little on there, it's almost like a stain on the canvas. That way you can highlight and do some amazing things over this without having to worry at all about the underpainting being picked up into the highlight colors. It's very simple. So just remember to keep this dark paint very, very thinly spread out. Now we'll load a nice soft brown color. And with this, just drop in some very slight indications of some cliffs and rocks and things right here. They don't all have to be perfect. In fact, I would just do them real loose. And then you can come back and straighten them out. See this? For now, just throw this color in. And it's definitely not very bright. I'm sure you can see that it just doesn't show up that clear. And that's great because that'll end up being a nice subtle color change in there, and then you can throw an even brighter highlight on. See this? Now it's starting to pop out. This is what's going to give your rocks form and dimension. If you have only two colors, a highlight and a shadow in the rock, it just won't look very detailed and look kind of plain. I want these things to be a lot more interesting because they really help to hold this painting together. Now we'll load up the 2-inch brush with a little bit of brown, yellow, red, touch of black. And let's go ahead and just work on some reflections here. See, we wouldn't want to paint these reflections after we did the foreground because we'd probably mess up most of it. So we'll do them now. Just pull straight down. And of course you want your reflection to match the size of the thing above it, or at least close. See if it's small here, it should be much bigger here. And then gently sweep across. Don't overblend. Allow those little variations to stay in there. Now with a nice, beautiful yellow color, let's go ahead and we'll work on this side for a while. Jump right on over here to the right-hand side and begin to put on some beautiful highlights. And you can do this while you're painting. You can jump from one side to the other. It doesn't make any difference at all. Whatever you feel like painting on. If you get tired of painting cliffs, well, just jump over and paint a tree or some bushes or whatever, and then go back to your cliffs later. All right. I'm just shaping these rocks here. Maybe this has some highlight on the front and blend it back. You don't want it all this color, so adjust the color slightly, and there we go. Just brush it in. Kind of comes off like that maybe, and there's another rock right there. Now we can begin to do something really, really exciting. Just gonna drop in a nice evergreen tree right about here. Not too large. Look how it sticks right out over the landscape. So pretty. And it's not perfectly straight. Don't want it totally straight, that just wouldn't look right. And then I'm gonna just set the brush on the side here. And I'm using the same old brown, red, and black mix that we're using for just about everything here, because I like to sort of tie everything together with color. A little bit of a beautiful golden color here and there is nice, because it sort of reflects the sky and the things going on up there. So I'm using the side of the brush here and just scrubbing these little tree and bush shapes in. I guess they're just like little bushes or short trees. They have good, nice, loose shapes to them, and that's what's most important here. Maybe there's another bush here. All right. Don't cover up too much of the background. We want to leave most of it showing through. Now we're going to go ahead and make this tree one of those backlit trees that we sometimes do. I have a beautiful light color here. And I'm going to change it up as I go along. It's not going to be the same throughout the whole tree. And the way we do these backlit trees, we simply do the light color first and put the dark in the middle of the tree. That's it. Pretty simple. All right. Leave a lot of the trunk showing through. Make very, very irregular limb spacing. Leave a lot of the sky and pockets of just open space. And then to this, see, we'll go in a little bit of brown. Put the dark brown right here, but save the edges. And it looks just like it's backlit. Now let's go ahead and do the exact same style of evergreen that we did over here. You see I'm just dabbing and tapping and letting all these beautiful limbs and leaves come right out. And honestly, it's the same exact style or same exact brush stroke you would do even on a tree that's very small or on a tree that's huge. And you'll see that in a minute. We're gonna do a big one. I've already got it planned out. I think it's gonna be over here somewhere. But it's the same idea, same stroke. Then go ahead and go to your brown. Same old dirty brush right through the brown. And stick a dark center right in the middle. And you could use the fan. The fan brush would be just as easy. The filbert brush was just in my hand. So why not? Now we can go ahead and tap on some nice little soft grassy areas. I'm just using the fan brush. Some of the same old colors we've been using throughout the entire painting. And I'm just tapping. Now by this time you have several different colors already mixed up on the palette just laying around. You can use those to really help to tie this painting together with color. One thing about the sunset paintings, if you don't tie it in with color, if it doesn't look like everything in the landscape is reflecting the colors of the sky, then boy, it really does not look right. I mean, I've made the mistake. I've done them where the landscape just doesn't fit with the sky. So be very careful about that. No bright green grass here. It's got to be this soft golden and brown and red. All right, maybe over here. Some very soft, beautiful grass areas. You can always highlight this too, but not much. This area is going to be kept pretty soft. Now we can go ahead and tap on some beautiful grassy areas to the right-hand side. See this? It really helps to tie the painting together, to make everything look so detailed. So detailed. Just tap this color right on, a little bit of brown, touch of red mostly. And honestly, at this point, most of the colors are kind of mixed together, so it's just a nice soft brown color. See, you tap your grass on like that. Load it up with a little bit of yellow, and then highlight the grass. very subtle, not too much. Allow a lot of the dark to show through. And I like using the fan brush because this is a tiny area. The 1 or 2 inch brush would make almost the exact same grass texture, just in a larger space. There. So really decide what brush you're going to use by the size of space that you're trying to cover. And use the one that's going to make the job the easiest. Now with our filbert brush, we'll just block in a huge tree up here. Look at this. And it comes right there. Now we did lose a little bit of that background, but not too much. There's still plenty of it showing through. Don't want to make this tree too large or you'll end up covering up a lot of your background. So the trunk should be just about that thick. All right. And when you're done with the tree trunk, we'll just drop in the leaves exactly the same way as we've been doing. Don't worry if your trunk isn't completely even. See, this one's not even at all. The top looks significantly too thick, but no worries, because it's going to get covered up when we put the dark leaves in front. Leave so much spacing here. Very, very open and airy. Now with the 1 inch brush, let's add some texture here to this area at the bottom. Now I was kind of going back and forth, do I want rocks or grass here? Well, I think I want more grass than rocks. I just think, we got so many rocks in the painting, it would be just fine if you chose to put a whole bunch of rocks down here as well. Nothing wrong with that. But for some reason, I guess just in the grass mood today, just feel like painting grass in this area. We might do a couple of little boulders here, but we might not. We'll see. Anyway, this is already dark, so we're just going to put some grass texture here up on the top. Now let's begin to drop on some beautiful highlights up here. It's as simple as just coming straight in and giving it a little pull down. This gives you tall grass. Now if you push with any kind of pressure, it'll all just mix together, so got to be careful about that. You're barely bending the bristles on the brush. Barely. See that? Kind of just skimming over the surface, leaving a lot of the dark pockets. And this is what makes the grass so beautiful. Now the last thing we want to do up here is drop in a lot of detail with the liner brush. Thin the paint down where it really flows nicely off the brush. And then you can simply draw in little branches, and of course you can do grass and all sorts of nice things like that. Little trees in the distance, but probably not in this painting. In other paintings you can do beautiful little trees in the distance. Oh yeah. This liner brush holds a lot of paint, so you can keep on going and going and going. Don't have to reload very often, as long as you have the paint the correct consistency. If it's off, then it won't flow like this. All right, well, I think we're done. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. Don't forget to check out my website, my DVDs, and also my brush line. And thanks for watching.